Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's Thursday. It's Korner Booth pregame.
Hey, is this thing on? Hello, testing.
No debate, cause they sold. I'm too official, got the drip, I got the sauce. Bring the proof when it's time to tell the truth. I'll be at the corner booth, find me in the corner booth, yeah. Still standing and defiant. Slay the competition, cause I'm walking like a giant.
What's up, Twitter world? There's my little OJ.
He's got an autographed OJ photo.
Has anybody heard the story about the Glizzy guy?
He fits today's generation.
Oh yeah, speaking of lady basketball players, the Lola Bunny, bonkable. Yes or no?
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Korner Booth pregame. I am your host, Jerry Clem. I apologize for that. Having two monitors, sometimes the mouse can get lost on one of them, and I can't get it back. But other than that, we're here. It's Thursday. We have only 7 days till the NFL draft. 7 days until basically the football equivalent of Christmas. I am very excited about this. And, of course, in true NFL fashion, for like the 15th year in a row, the NFL headlines that went dormant for most of the end of March into April are now starting to heat up. Hell, even Aaron Rodgers is back on the map. So we'll talk about that. We got some UFL picks tonight. We got our 4-pack, 2 guest pickers with us, as well as the final vote for the Korner Booth playoff bracket, the matchup between March Madness versus the NFL playoffs. And of course, we got the NBA playoffs. Play-ins already started. I believe division rounds the first round, used football terms here, I believe starts Friday. So, Thursday? Saturday. Nate's in the background wagging his finger at me like the Kim Mutombo. Either way, it's a great show. We'll get ripping right now. First of all, joining us now, I'm going to rip his head coach apart, or at least call his head coach a clown in the next 5 to 10 minutes. But he's a Jets fan. He's my co-host. He's awesome. His hair looks great. Matt Ordazzo.
I stand with Aaron Glenn. As bad as that story sounds, there's 2 sides to everything, and we'll never hear the Jets side because Aaron Glenn doesn't tell anybody anything, which I love.
You guys also get live Madden ratings for your roster picks, but it's okay.
Listen, you know what? The level of just whatever we've had the last 2 years, you know what? Somebody deserves a little something. So got a little something.
Listen, in Aaron Glenn's defense, I get it. He's trying to start something new, but this could have been done over Skype. You didn't have to have the guy fly out there.
I agree with that one.
We'll talk about it a little bit. Also, in the background, our producer, Mr. Nate. Hi, Nate.
Hey, boss. Hi, Matt. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy Thursday to y'all.
That's a nice Kelly Green hoodie there, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. And some A's gear today.
I know. I'm just busting your chops because I know Kelly Green, Eagles colors.
Yeah. Listen, some Aaron Judge gets a lot of love, but somebody that doesn't get a lot of love, which is somebody that we got. What is that? Is that Devontae Adams?
Devontae Adams.
It's Malachi Corley.
Oh, the 17 tripped me up.
Yeah, I know. I literally went to Target on Tuesday with my friends to get cards. Well, my friend got Pokemon cards, but I don't want to get into that too much because there's a line. Anyways, I got me a pack of football cards for $7, and I got this guy. Thought of you, Matt, right away.
I'm hoping that they use him a little more this year. Maybe a new regime, less options at receiver. He'll sneak into a wide receiver 2 thing or something. But I hear Target's a place to go now. I hear they also limit you to 2 boxes per person for Pokemon and baseball.
They have a big sign over it. It's actually pretty dope.
There was a kid screaming on his phone like, "Hey, you got to get down here. They have Pokemon cards." And I'm just like, "Oh my God."
I feel like that has waves because I feel like there's times where it's huge. Then there's times where it's just dies down. It's not as hectic. And then it just gets insane again with Pokemon.
Yeah, man. It's got to catch them all.
Well, what I was saying before was guys like Aaron Judge get a lot of love, but people that don't get really any love unless you're on the West Coast. But you got to shout out to the guy that's tying Judge with the most home runs in the league right now. That's Soderstrom with the Oakland Athletics. The Athletics, just the Athletics, not Oakland. But you got to show him some love, man. He's just coming out of nowhere. He's just having a really powerful year so far.
He sure is. I think he's the leader now. I think he hit another home run yesterday. So I think he's the current
So
leader.
he's at 8 then? Yeah, because Judge is at 7.
Yeah. So, he's at 8. Oh, thank Lord.
Listen, if
Woo!
they said Judge was on pace for like 134 home runs, then Soderstrom's got to be on pace for like 140.
Hey, in that ballpark, you should be able to hit dingers. Let's be honest. It's a small ballpark.
Is he Big Al? We'll see.
My
All
name
he
is
has
Big
hit
Al,
dingers.
and I hit dingers.
I love that. That was one of my favorite clips. I'm
I
actually
was
upset.
they posted a picture of him. He's like lost like 40 pounds.
Yeah.
Good for him.
He's like this built like high school kid who still hits rockets. So it's like good for him, man. By the way, for those keeping score at home, I was able to get the first baseman mitt for $35. So we're good. Now it's a Rawlings, whatever. It's not player preferred. It's hard of whatever those second highest grade Rawlings mitt is. I got one of those first baseman mitt, which is lit because now I got moved to first base in my men's league. I'm hyped as hell. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm also hyped to have back on the show. This man hasn't been back since February. He's also a Jets fan. He's a Yankees fan and a couple obscure Albany teams, and he's also father of my third favorite cat at Belly Up. Tag along, ladies and gentlemen. Cracking a beer, Ryan McCarthy.
I love Tagalong's Girl Scout cookies. That cat makes great cookies.
Oh, that's right.
Also makes great biscuits.
There you go. Ryan, I'm rocking with a little, can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah.
All right. And
I'm rocking the treehouse tonight.
I got a classic.
Ooh.
Treehouse is old. Treehouse is New England IPA is still my favorite, one of my top 5 favorite beers I've ever consumed in my life. It is.
Nate, they do make spiked water, believe it or not.
Oh,
They really I had that for a while when I was like in my hard cutting phases. That's all I would have. It was wild.
all right.
Don't know what I was doing.
And from the great state of Ohio, ladies and gentlemen.
Isn't that great?
He's already shaking his head. All right.
Is it really that great?
Ohio sports and just a ray of sunshine. Kelsey Cohen.
Wow. Yeah. Fun fact. Actually, Ohio finally had a day over 60 today. So that's fantastic. And everybody else had something in their hands. So I pulled out my cards, or at least the only Gem 10 I have, which is let's see if it focuses in. A Yu Darvish.
My cousin! Hey!
Yeah. So it worth a whopping $30. Jared, you don't need anything else. You got a beer. I don't have a beer.
Well, I mean, I got a holographic ant.
Okay. So if we're pulling out all the cards right here.
And then I got a Corbin Carroll rookie card I found in a parking lot.
Here you go. Here's my Shohei card. And
This is for you, Kels.
my Vic card. My Victor Wembanyama card.
This is for you, Kels.
I'm ignoring you, Nate.
I'm hoping this turns out to be worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
a
a
4.
free agent.
It's a 4-4.
That's
This is
lit, dude.
This is worth barely anything, but this is a Malachi Jones Atlanta Legends card from the AAF. It's signed. Malachi Jones used to play for the Albany Empire, by the way. Just FYI.
That's a throwback. Man.
Yeah, I'm hoping Travis Hunter's autograph could one day be like Otani's autograph. We will see.
Yeah, I need to get.
Would you sell it?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's things I could pay off. So yeah, if this gets to be a certain amount of money, it's not going to be on my wall for long. Yeah. Yeah.
Unlike that signed OJ picture, right?
That's going to stay. Yeah, I have because I also have a book that he signed, so I could just get rid of one and keep the other.
To my friend Matt, if the glove fits.
The book is I don't know if it's the book he wrote when after his trial. It definitely was, but it's authenticated from 1994 by his lawyer, who pretty much wrote, "I watched this man sign this. This is legit." I was like, "Okay, whatever you say."
OJ Simpson writes a children's book. OJ learns to share sharp objects. All right, rest in peace to one of the greatest running backs of all time. Anyway,
And convicted felon.
you know what? Yeah.
Other things. Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Maybe the best police chase of all time too.
Yeah, it's fair.
Most televised for sure.
Oh,
Even though I one time, this is really bad. I was it might have been last year, probably off season. So it was between when the MLB starts getting a little like boring. It's like mid-July. It's before the NFL season kicks off. It's definitely before we went out to Ohio. I was on TikTok on a live stream watching a police chase. It was for like an hour. I'm like, it was like 11 o'clock at night. I'm watching Netflix. I'm trying to go to bed. I gotta go to work next morning. And I started watching a police chase. And it was like 12:15 when he crashed. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go to bed.
It's like cops on your phone.
Yeah, right. And this dude was like, it was straight out of like one of your GTA escapes where you're like cutting through lanes, going off like little jumps. And I'm like, how is his suspension not shot? That was my first question. But I have bigger questions because we're going to jump right into the NFL first. I think Chris Greer might be the worst GM in football. That's not a GM and owner. So Kelsey, Jerry Jones excluded from this argument.
So like half the NFL is excluded from this argument now.
They put Jalen Ramsey on the trade block. And so some schmuck at Yahoo tried to say the Eagles were going to get him for Devontae Smith and a first rounder, but I'm like, my brain had to restart from the stupidity of that mock trade. Anyway, I just wanted to take a crap on that guy for writing that article. But the bigger thing is, I found out also they only have about $8 million of cap space left, which is roughly the amount they need to pay all their draft picks. So they have nothing, and
you got to remember their draft doesn't count for their cap. Their draft payments are already separate.
No. That's all they have left is their draft payments. That's all they have left.
So then they have a zero cap. They don't have an 8.
Yeah, they have a zero. They have like as close to zero cap as possible. I think it was Tyler Cohen. I follow him on TikTok. He's a big Dolphins fan, and honestly, when there's any Dolphins news, I kind of go to his page first. And he was even saying like they got nothing. they got holes in the roster bigger than the sun, and they're trying to deal Ramsey to basically just clear up cap room so they can sign people. Because basically, boys, they're gonna start calling us for veteran league minimums at this point, trying to get us in.
All right.
I'll take it.
Twist my arm for that veteran.
Twist my arm. Pay me $500,000 to go get the crappy.
500, bro. You're discounting yourself by $225,000.
Wait, okay, so it is up.
It's $725. Yeah, $725 is the league.
Where do I sign?
Yeah. $550 is practice squad. Or no, sorry, $50,000 is practice squad. If you get called up, you're like $350,000, and then it's
I wonder how much it costs to be a water boy.
You get paid $80,000 a year as a water boy. $80,000 with benefits.
I think they're referred as like athletic assistant or something like that.
No, they're water boys.
Oh, they call it water boy. Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
I think the guys that
also. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Matt. Sorry, go ahead.
I think the guys that also like wipe down the floors like in basketball for the free throws. I think they also make like 80-something thousand.
Yeah, like 75, 80.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's MLB bad boys who are doing it volunteer work.
But like,
yeah, right.
Except for the ball dudes for San Francisco.
Yeah, volunteer work, but they also get. I think they get also the connection from it, and there's also a couple things else they get.
Oh yeah, they get all the merch they want. They get team equipment, sign whatever you want.
They get pulled aside by was it Barry Bonds in a World Series game, and then cried in the dugout afterwards.
That was Dusty Baker's son.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to. That's my callback.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so the Giants have always used ball dudes. So they're all the old men that they qualify by winning their miracle camp. Like they're the best 2 performers from their miracle camp in the spring. Fun fact.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks have like ball girls, and they're actually athletic. Like I've seen one of them like scoop a ball off the dirt that like short hopped her and like jumped up in the air and caught it and then like flipped it to some kid. I'm like, that was like the most athletic 30 seconds I've ever seen on this baseball field. Then again, he was next to Geno Suarez, so the bar was set pretty low. Love Geno. He's just not an athletic freak. He just hits the ball a mile. Ball shot to my Diamondbacks for their second straight sweep. Let's go.
The A's swept the White Sox.
Nate, that's like having a high school team beat up a little league squad.
Juan Soto went 0 for 5. Juan Soto continues to struggle.
That's like sweeping Yeshiva College. Come on.
Hey now. Ended their 100-game losing streak now.
That's true. They did in a doubleheader with the other school that is skipping my tongue. They were 0-42. They were over 42 before that doubleheader.
The longest combined losing streak in NCAA history, which is the craziest story on the planet.
No, the thing, the doubleheader that we're talking about was the 2 longest losing streaks in all of college baseball.
Yeah.
So they were bound. One of them was going to be broken. They ended up both being broken that same day.
That's crazy. All right, back to Jalen Ramsey and the Dolphins.
Oh yes.
So can we just put a nail in this? Matt, I'll let you gloat, okay? Because I know you're a Dolphins hater number one.
Yes, I hate them. Fans suck. Can't
Do we-
stand it.
Number two.
Do we put nails in the coffin at this point? Like this is going to be a lost season. Like they're talking about they want 2 firsts for Tyreek, which ain't going to happen. Well, like,
When isn't it a lost season for the? When isn't it a lost season for the Dolphins? Because they start off hot and they end cold.
6-11. Am I off base here?
Yeah, no, I don't think so because they're still weak on defense, and I don't even know what's going to happen with Tyreek Hill with that situation he's got going on. So I think Ramsey, I don't agree with it. I think that's their best player in that secondary right now. I think they lost Xavier Howard. That was who went to the Giants, I believe. So yeah, they really need some secondary help. And
there other
Javon Holland.
Javon Holland, yes, there's almost right.
Yeah, Nick. So wait, we got X.
Yeah, no, I mean,
You got the better one though, so that's okay.
true.
I think Ramsey would benefit from maybe converting to safety for the rest of his career, if anything, because I know he's in his like early mid 30s, or I think he's like 30.
You're older than us, damn dude.
Oh, he's 30. That's it. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, he's still got another couple.
I think he
corner.
just turned 30, so like he may be like
nah.
months older than me.
Yeah, he turned 30 in October.
To me, I mean, I like it because I don't like the Dolphins, so get rid of them and just be as weak as you can. But they're still going to implode at the end of the year. They're just going to choke before they get to the playoffs, or just same
They
old.
choke in week 2, and like DJ said, he'll be starting quarterback for like by week 7 December 17th, which is.
But I mean, all is well with Miami. They still don't have an offensive line. They never build it, and they just continue to lose guys on defense, and they just try and mask it with their high-powered offense.
Even also, I will stand on the ground. The 2 most overrated and dumbest head coaches in football. I will stand on this hill are Mike McDonald and Kevin Stefanski. They're both morons, but
McDaniel.
Yeah, I'm a
McDonald's in
Stefanski
Seattle.
because I still am bitter about what he did to Baker Mayfield because I think he
Oh, Kevin Stefanski is the dumbest. There's not a doubt in my mind. You're forgetting there's another head coach in Dallas that's still a dumbest.
I forgot.
Listen, he's a new head coach, and he's
I'm
still one
trying
of
to
the dumbest in
save
the
you
league.
the angst of talking about your former team.
And you also can't say this about McDaniel when he has taken Tua and made him look like an all-star. His offense made Tua look good. Let's be honest about that.
His game management is awful. That's where I split hairs. It's like, yeah, he's good on offense, but like he can't manage a game. Honestly, he'd be an incredible OC. He'd be a cool OC. He's just not a head coach. It's kind of like how Rex Ryan really wasn't a head coach, but he's a great DC when he was in Baltimore.
I'll ask you this. They have nobody, and they only got rid of 2 players in the offseason, and yet they were still one of the best teams in the AFC for the last 3 seasons. How can you be a bad head coach with nothing other than 5 players, and one of them is constantly out on concussion protocol, and the other one, Jalen Waddle, is constantly on IR, and yet your team still is dominant, and you're literally running over people with backups from other teams.
His offense is good. I will give him that. He runs a good offense. I just think
hard to be a bad head coach when you're winning games and you're one of the best players.
He's in football game situationally. I am not a fan, and I also think like dude's attitude is hilarious because he acts like he's won 3 Super Bowls and they run into a buzzsaw every time they hit the playoffs. I still think he's a better head coach than obviously what is in Dallas or what is up in Cleveland or.
I can add another 5 teams if you want me to.
Yeah, I mean, are we throwing Seattle in there yet? Or are we going to give McDonald one more year?
You don't like Stefanski?
I think Stefanski's a moron.
Oh,
I think he showed promise. I think he showed promise early on in his
promise was, hey, give Nick Chubb the football.
Well, when they actually got him to the playoffs, I was like, oh, maybe he's actually not decent. And then all of a sudden the Baker stuff and everything afterwards is like, oh, okay, this guy's just showing his hand. Okay. I don't want it.
Yeah. There's
not Adam Gase.
Coaches that are still worse than Mike McDaniel.
He is not Adam Gase, but he's not Bill Parcells.
At least Daboll's doing quite swell. Right, boss?
He's still got a job, which I am a proponent for keeping Brian Daboll employed. I think he's a great coach.
Thank you. Now give us Dallas Goedert.
I don't think
they're not making that trade. Howie Roseman would rather trade him to the Sun than he would give you guys anything.
At least one GM in that division doesn't want to trade within their own division.
Yeah, unless like we made a deal with you guys for that pick because we both agreed to it. I think Jerry agreed to it because it was screwing over the Giants, and the Eagles agreed to it because they wanted Devontae Smith. So,
and the Cowboys still screwed up a pick.
I mean, you got Micah.
Was that the Micah pick?
It was Micah pick. That is correct.
Never mind. All right.
That was
They got Kadarius Toney.
That's the only useful thing they got.
You were thinking of like Mozzie Smith or something?
That was like the most win-win draft trade I've ever seen.
No, I was thinking that the tackle or the guard out of
Tyler Smith. No, he's good.
Tulsa.
Tyler Smith.
Which it was a reach at that. It was a reach at that spot.
Oh yeah, true. You could have got
when there was better offensive linemen on the board.
Or was that the one where Sean McVay was laughing on the screen? Yeah.
No. That was the.
That was strange.
That was Cole
That's why I
Strange.
knew. That's why I knew Bill was fried when you have McVay laugh. And I think McVay's a weenie. I think he's a great head coach. I just think he's a weenie. But he's like, oh, we were so close. He really grinds my gears seeing how bad Philadelphia beat
that's a good voice right there.
Brother, you needed to hurt our quarterback and for it to snow to keep in that game. We were 14-0 before the snow started coming down. The Rams.
Never heard somebody blame the weather first and then the injury. Then the weather.
We still would have kicked their ass. The problem was we were falling apart. We couldn't run
especially for a Philadelphia team, though. Like, how can you blame the weather in Philadelphia?
Oh no, the weather helped us, but they were honestly Stafford in the snow was honestly kind of scary. He's really good. Also, there was a couple push-offs, but listen, we won the Super Bowl.
Eagles and push-offs. Here we go.
Listen, it's okay. We'll just curb stop.
Wait for the Super Bowl comment again. Coming soon.
Caw. Eagles.
Wins the title, and he still complains about a push-off that was an obvious a hold. That was an obvious hold.
Whoa! There it is.
Okay, this isn't on the belly of YouTube. We're okay.
Cry, Eagles, cry.
No, it's on the belly.
Road to misery.
Okay.
I think that's our song.
I like the Jets song.
I actually sang that after the Jets beat the Eagles in 2023 on my podcast. No credentials required, by the way. Saturday at 10 a.m.
Who's got the McCarthy shameless plug ticker going? my favorite is one time Chris kept a marker and held it up at the end of the show, and he got Brian. That was the show. I think it was last year you came on, and I busted your chops on the first time you said it, and so you then did it on purpose for the entire show. We had a great total of 11 shameless plugs, and I was so proud. Listen, I'm all for people who come on the show sharing their stuff. So we're all big family affiliates.
I'm also going to share belly up stuff. I mean, we've got sponsors.
Exactly.
We've got
and also, I apologize for my fruity language. I do hate referees in all sports, umpires especially. But I do apologize for my fruity language. Anyway, so
fruity language.
Getting back to it.
I was gonna say I don't know if that word that you use would be considered a fruity word.
No.
Exciting.
Salty.
Colorful word.
Colorful works. Okay.
Spiced up.
Spicy.
Extra spicy. There we go. All right. Anyway, we're back to any last thoughts? Any predictions on where Jalen Ramsey could go? And we'll move on to AA Ron.
I was holding back a plug actually when I said spiced up. So.
Good Lord.
My answer is going to be nowhere that makes sense.
Okay.
Jalen goes nowhere that makes sense.
Jalen's going to go somewhere in the NFC.
Yeah, he's going to end up. Honestly, he's probably going to end up on the Eagles,
or the Cowboys, because that's what Jerry wants.
No, Jerry's not smart enough to go sign.
I got one for you. Detroit Lions.
No, they don't need it because they have they have DJ Reed.
They can still take a number 3.
Yeah, and I had them in my first mock taking Malachi Starks, and I realized they do have Kirby Joseph, but they like using Branch as a weird nickel kind of in between defender.
Well, so Jalen's still a corner. He's not safety yet. So he's still a nickel corner, and he would slide in there and be the number 1 next to Kirby. Kirby would be the outside. Jalen takes the spot.
Kirby's a free safety.
Sure. And then Terrion Arnold.
Terrion Arnold, who honestly didn't he finish in the bottom 5 for PFF?
Well, he was out for 6 games, something like that.
Yeah, he got smoked.
I think I was gonna say one team that pops to my mind would be Seattle for whatever the reason is. Just pair him with Devin Witherspoon, and then I could also maybe see the Raiders just go for it because they need some defensive help too.
Honestly, I would love to see Jalen Ramsey on the Raiders. That'd be fun.
Don't they pay state tax? Just like in Florida.
I'd say Texas, Houston sounds like a great place for him to land too for the same reason.
Ooh. The problem is Houston really needs to spend their money on offensive line help.
Oh, Houston needs to spend their money somewhere.
Well, they spend their entire offseason on defense, and I'm kind of sitting there like, I hope they draft a receiver. I hope they draft someone because I don't want to see CJ Stroud die. Like that's kind of like where I'm at this point with the Texans. Like I've made the joke multiple times about how with the way the Titans are set, if Cam Ward has a decent to great to good rookie campaign, they're a 10-win team as a wild card spot, and it makes total sense. Even though he really gassed up his receivers, saying Calvin Ridley was the best receiver in the league, and Treylon Burks was number 4.
Terrible.
Their division is awful.
The Titans are a 10-win team?
Yes.
Who's running the ball?
That O-line.
Who's running the ball for them?
If they get Cam Scatterbo in the mid-rounds, that'd be dangerous.
No, what'd you say, Jared?
Pollard or Tajay Sharp?
They tried that last year, and that didn't work. Try again. They're 2 scat backs, so that's not great. Who are they going to throw the ball to? Treylon Burks, the guy who's out with asthma constantly?
I am being optimistic because of how bad
Akine Westbrook's no longer there. He's in Miami.
Listen. Give me 4 wins. Possibly 4 wins against the Colts and the Jags.
What are they going to do at safety? What are they going to do at linebacker?
Damn.
It's not a perfect system. I'm saying they have
Kelsey?
I'm trying to figure out how this Titans team. I'm trying to figure out how this Titans
schedule.
And they're the Titans. They literally have holes amongst holes. They make Munster cheese look like it's filled with nothing. Like there are no holes in the cheese.
Kelsey, when we do our football preview, you and me will do one of our weekly yearly bets, and I will slap a 10 spot on the Titans having 10 wins.
The Titans are one.
Everybody heard that right here. Jared put 10 on the Titans having how many wins?
10 wins.
10 wins.
10 for 10, baby.
10 wins.
I'll put 50 if I was a risk taker.
Somebody, Nate, can you write down the time on that? Because we're getting a short for this one.
You got it. I already did.
My favorite was when I made a bet with I made some bet with Kelsey about Anthony Edwards, and it was it was one of the ones I was actually right. And I get a random.
He wasn't a top 20 player at the same time.
No,
he was a top 20 player 2 years later.
4 o'clock in the morning with whatever bet I got right. I don't remember what this bet was, but I got something right. It was about the NBA. You sent me $5 in the middle of the night.
Nah.
All I know is Samir owes us both like $1,000.
At this point in time, I've scratched him off to the game.
Listen, Samir's a funny kid, but the clip he posted wasn't that funny.
Yeah, he was doing stand-up.
It was
he was
not
doing stand-up comedy.
I'm like, buddy, that's not your A material. I've heard you say funnier crap on this show. I was like, oh, buddy, come on. Like, that's his dream. He told me his dream was to be a stand-up comedian. I'm like, that's awesome. But I also refer back to something that who was it? He said it. Bill Burr and Joe Rogan were talking about this, and it was like about how like stand-up comedians are better when they've got a little more edge. Samir just seems like a happy puppy. I don't think he has any edge to him. Comedic actor.
I don't really know him well.
I knew him for a very long time. Anyway, we'll move on. So on a semi-positive note, Jalen Hurts got nominated to the top top 100 most influential people. Congratulations to him. Also, congratulations, apparently, Little Uzi Vert to stay relevant because I forgot he still made music. I still listen to his. I just want to rock some of the song I know by him. Anyway, he literally was taking shots, calling him Big Little Bro about his chain or something. I don't know. I saw the story.
Bigger than him and younger.
I know. Hector explained this to us. I get the reasoning. Anyway, I was like, I didn't even realize Lil Uzi Vert was still doing his thing. So, okay. Because I'm
more concerned that you went into this conversation.
He's ready.
And wasn't ready, and you weren't ready for this conversation. You went into this with that very lack of melanin in your.
Oh, I'm white as hell. I know. I love rap music. I just don't like his type of rap music. I've never been a fan of Lil Uzi Vert. Like when he walked off the Super Bowl, I was like, oh, we're gonna lose. But anyway, all right. So congrats to Jalen for making the time top 100, whatever.
So wait, hold on. How do you, as Jalen Hurts, the guy who doesn't get in front of a microphone, how do you end up in one of the most influential people who doesn't spend his money and investment? He spends his time in the community, but like, how does he get a top 100 nomination for most influential?
It's probably because last year he appeared on Abbott Elementary, which is one of the best shows you can watch right now.
I've been meaning to get into that. I heard it's funny.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I see clips and it makes me literally crack up every time. So I'm like,
oh, it's awesome.
So
it's like,
the tribute was crafted by Derek Jeter in the Time 100.
Oh,
yeah.
Derek Jeter,
Jordan Brand guy. Okay.
Jeter, Jalen Hurts.
Keeping the jump. Also, by the way, shout out to Jumpman for maybe the best clapback commercial of all time, showing Jason Tatum with the title, Mookie Betts with the title, Jalen Hurts, and then obviously the two guys in the national championship game both were Jordan Schools. Michigan, the reigning national champ from the previous year, Jordan School. I thought it was a pretty smart clapback because Adidas has been coming at them a lot lately for the lack of quality of Nike products. Anyway, speaking of coming back on the map, Aaron Rodgers appeared on the Pat McAfee show today. Obviously, we have two Jets fans here, so I'll just state what he said. Apparently, he snuck into Pittsburgh to meet with them and drove a Chevy Malibu. That was the legit wording there. Threw a little bit with DK. Said he talked with the Giants and the Vikings, but there was really nothing like solid. The story about how he left Green Bay was interesting. Green Bay. New York was interesting because apparently he flew out to New York to meet with Aaron Glenn and who's your new GM, Matt?
Darren Muji.
And so they were chatting back and forth. It was like a 10-minute meeting, and Aaron Glenn basically summarized this to him, and this is what was reported to me from the McAfee show and from other sources. How do you want to be released? Now, was the Rodgers-Jets merger awful? Yes. Could this have been an email? Yes. Is Aaron Glenn, do I see his point about trying to start over? Yes. Do I think this is a little bit, I don't want to say disrespectful, because Rodgers has earned a little respect. Say what you want about his political or medical opinions. Who cares, right? It's just football. He's a 4-time league MVP. He's won a Super Bowl. He's one of the probably 15 to 10 greatest quarterbacks to ever walk the earth. He deserves a little bit more of a, hey, I'm going to fly out here to say how you want to get released. Like, this could have been a phone call. The whole thing is weird. Apparently, the only team really interested right now that he wants to go play for is Pittsburgh. What's holding him up is apparently there is an issue he's got to resolve in his inner circle. And the last thing is, then this was the big headline, he said both retirement and going to play for Pittsburgh are both on the table. That was basically the cliff notes of the interview. You want to go watch it. Obviously, Pat McAfee probably has it up right now on his channel. But yeah, I'll start with the Jets fans. Matt, I kind of got your opinion early. McCarthy, I want to hear you go first. Thoughts on Rodgers' exit from New York? What is next? What'd you think?
I mean, regardless of whether would it have been a telephone conversation, a Skype conversation, well, Skype's going out the window, the Zoom conversation, over FaceTime, or if it's live and in person, either way, the Jets are getting shredded in the press. And Rodgers, I guess you could say, is going to get shredded too, but he's already been shredded. That whole thing is, it's whatever. But it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation for the Jets. Do you bring him in and tell him face to face like a man, or do you tell him over telephone, tell him over email? I mean, email would have been the most passive aggressive thing to do. either way, somebody's going to make somebody's making a bad decision here. So, I mean, at least Aaron Glenn had the temerity to let him know, hey, do you want to play football with us next year? And from what he said on Pat McAfee was like, yeah, sure, of course, I do want to play football, I guess, or probably, or something like that.
I'm interested.
That's not the answer you give, though. That's not. If you would say, I want to play football, I want to play quarterback, I say, yeah, I want to play, and I want to play quarterback for your team. That would have let me know if I'm Aaron Glenn, if you're interested. If you say, what did you just say, man? You said probably.
Yeah, I think his words were, they said, do you want to play football? And he was like, I'm interested, yeah.
That tells me you're not exactly, you're both feet in.
I mean, that's kind of semantics at that point. Like, it's like, he definitely is interested. The problem is, like, you got to realize, he's also 41 years old, and he just had two of the roughest seasons of his career. I'd be kind of like, yeah, I'm interested in playing ball again. Like, that's, like, the context of the question. I will say this, though. We all know what's going to happen. He's either playing for the Steelers. They're still going to probably draft a quarterback in the first or second round. We know that's happening. Or he retires and he goes out as, once again, one of the top probably 10 or 15 greatest quarterbacks to ever walk the earth. All I'm saying, McCarthy, you're on point here. The only thing I'm saying is, like, the whole attitude of what he said is like, that's his brand. That's who he is. He's an aloof person. He's never one to get that fired up about, like, language and what he says. He's not like a rah-rah kind of guy. He's like the anti-Russell Wilson.
I understand that, but you're coming into a situation where you've got a head coach who is very intense, and he wants to know if you're in or you're out. And if I'm sitting there, I'm Aaron Glenn, that's telling me you kind of got one foot out the door already. And yes, the Jets acquisition of Aaron Rodgers was if you were Joe Douglas or Robert Saleh, that's your Hail Mary right there. That was a Hail Mary situation. And of course, 4 plays in the 2023 season, busts his Achilles.
Yeah.
Because his offensive line sucks. And then last year was just, I mean, I appreciate him playing all 17 games. There were times where he showed his age. And it happened to be, and it was interesting that it was earlier in the season, especially in that Denver game. He got beat up in that game, and he just seems like he never recovered until later in the season when the Jets were out of it. So I don't know. It's just a new era. With a new era, you want to make a good impression on your coach. I understand he's been in the league for a long time, top 10 quarterback all time, or at least top 5 in this era. But you want to at least communicate to your coach, yeah, I want to be here. I want to be here. Not I'm interested. No, tell me yes or tell me no.
I mean, we all knew he was not coming back to the Jets next year. Like, that was a foregone conclusion. I think the point is now it has to move in a direction where it's like, okay, either cut him, trade, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can't really trade him. Just cut him, do whatever. Like, listen, it was a bad marriage from the previous administration. You kind of have to roll with it and take your lumps and go. Kelsey, as a as a neutral party here, because you're not a Jets or a Rodgers fan here, thoughts on this whole situation, the interview, his answers, what the Jets did, allegedly. What do you think?
Not a Jets fan yet.
Yeah. Let's put the caveat there. I am an Aaron Glenn fan, though. And the one thing about Aaron Glenn is he will ruffle feathers, and he has no problem ruffling feathers. He will shock you, and he will give you the awe, and he will leave you with your mouth open.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers is cerebral as it gets when it comes to these things. He approaches these interviews in a very cerebral fashion. And if somebody point blank asks you 20 seconds in the conversation, yo, you playing football or not? Any one of us hears that, our first reaction isn't going to be a PR response. Be like, yeah, man, I'm interested in still playing. Like, that's how I take this comment. Was like he asked the question and Aaron took it as yeah, I'm still interested. That's how I take it. Not well, I am interested, but let's talk numbers. Like, I'm not taking it like that, per se. I'm not taking it as a career financial safety play. I'm taking it as a quick response to off the cuff question when he's talking to the GM about something and not Glenn, and Glenn pipes in with that question because that's a question meant to shock. That's a question I would ask somebody in an interview to get him off guard and see what happens. But I would take the response as like, okay, remember I shocked them with this, so let me see how they adjust. Obviously, the first reaction if you immediately respond is going to be like, yeah, of course I'm interested still. That just makes sense. It's telling in the fact that Aaron was shocked about this. And that's the part that I think you take away from this conversation is when Aaron comes out and says, yeah, I was actually shocked. That means that something happened in the meeting that was not normal, which is for Aaron Glenn's purpose. You take that and you're like, all right, well, this checks out for how Aaron Glenn acts, how he's always acted, how you've seen on Hard Knocks, what you've seen in his playing career, what you've seen in his coaching career. This is how he always is because he's just going to ask you point blank the questions that he already knows the answer to. But he's going to ask you in a way that's going to catch you off guard. And I know from this perspective, I imagine from Jets fans, it's frustrating because all you hear is, yeah, I'm interested. Well, okay, what does that mean? Because he just hasn't bought into this point in time. It just doesn't feel like he's ever bought in. And then from the perspective of like looking at it from a non-Aaron Rodgers fan and a guy who I strictly do not like Aaron Rodgers as a person. And let me be clear about that. I respect what he did in Green Bay. And he's the reason Mike McCarthy got another job. But I will never respect the man as a person. And for him to say that, I'm still sitting here like, I get it. I get why he responded that way. I get why that's the case. And I get why that would lead to shock in his case. I don't think it's a surprise. I don't think it should be a surprise that they're going in a different direction. It just makes sense with a new regime coming in. But like, I kind of get it from the perspective of what we've heard from the media that's not Aaron Rodgers in this. It's been a lot more, yeah, it seems like Aaron Glenn just came off the cuff with a question and Rodgers responded immediately. And that's why it seems so odd. Like that's the part when Rodgers told the story, he didn't say like, yeah, I immediately responded with. He just said, yeah, I responded with, yeah, I'm interested, which immediately tells you, okay, well, that sounds weird. But then if you look at the other reports from the conversations, it's like it was an immediate response, a knee-jerk reaction. And so for me, this doesn't – like the same thing with Brett Favre back in the day when he was in the exit interview, not the other part of Brett Favre. We don't talk about that part. But this Aaron Rodgers thing just feels like it's blown out of proportion. It just feels like another silly thing that Jets media is trying to trash Jets in some way, shape, or form, or some former Jet to make fans jaded about something. And that seems to be the same thing. And I'm sorry, I know I'm sitting in this call with two Jets fans, and I'm sorry, but it just feels like your guys' media hates you and wants you to suffer even more. And this feels like a story that's meant for that purpose.
You're 1,000% correct. Other than, at least Rich Samini, ESPN, as The Athletic, New York Post, New York Times, all the mainstream press does.
Yeah.
But if you talk about the guys on the internet, the social media guys like Jake Asman, Matt,
the guys that get the NFL credentials with no question are the guys that are the problem.
I would say Connor Hughes. Connor Hughes is a pretty even keel, tries to be positive kind of Jets reporter.
Connor's consistent. Connor Hughes is consistent in that regard. I will say I could care less about Aaron Rodgers right now. I've moved on. I am still not completely over the Juan Soto thing, but I am well over the Aaron Rodgers thing. That only took me a few days after finding out that information. I will say, do I think it was a little disrespectful on the Jets' end to make him come all the way out here to do that? Probably, yeah. This could have definitely been a FaceTime, a phone call. This could have been something where he didn't have to travel across the country to get told within that time frame, by the way, goodbye. Because I agree with what you're saying, Jared. He is, at the end of the day, one of the best quarterbacks we've seen in our lifetime. And overall, he's a top quarterback in the NFL history. Even though he had a couple back-to-back bad years, he still deserves the respect of that nature to not make him fly across the country to be told you're fired in 20 seconds. But I will also say in Aaron Glenn's defense, look at what Aaron Rodgers has brought to the Jets in these last 2 years and what the outcome has been. We have gotten Nate Hackett, we've got Alan Lazard, we've gotten Randall Cobb, we have gotten Devontae Adams, we've gotten guys like Billy Turner. I'm surprised we never got David Bakhtiari or Mercedes Lewis. But anybody that man wanted, he wanted Keith Carter, the offensive lineman, to come back and be the coach. He wanted, I think, Todd Downs to continue to be the guy. So everything that he wanted from player and coaching personnel, he got. And all of them got fired.
Rasala was gone. Douglas was gone. Everybody that he brought with him is besides Alan Lazard. Somehow Alan Lazard has made it. I don't know how, but
renegotiated contract. That's what.
Yeah, it's humongous pay cut. But pretty much, if I'm Aaron Glenn, I'm looking at that track history. Like I'm probably studies show I'm going to be next, and I am all on board with just a fresh start of just somebody else. I'm already expecting this to not be the greatest of years. Like if we get 6 wins, I think that's pretty on par if we were to finish the season with 6 wins with everything going on. But I like what Aaron Glenn said. You got to establish a culture before you could start winning. But I just don't think Aaron Rodgers was going to fit the culture that he was going to try and build.
And I kind of want to go back to what Kelsey said. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. But you said about some to the effect of Aaron Glenn shocking Aaron Rodgers. That's a Parcells tactic. Bill Parcells did the same thing.
I guess at the end of the day, I think this is totally Kelsey's totally on point. This is totally shock and awe. Jets media trying to spin something out. Listen, the fact of the matter is, I went back and watched the interview. I was like, this is just a typical Aaron Rodgers interview. Yeah, we were waiting to hear what was going on, but he's been basically dark since January. So that's why I kind of made the joke the Lord of Headlines is back, because that's what Aaron Rodgers has turned into since 2018. I think that did it pull more press because it is on McAfee's show? Yes. If he just tweeted out something, it would have been different. But I thought it was an interesting interview. It gave us some information, and now kind of that's it. We're done. It's a talking point of 10 minutes max.
Would you have said he went on a darkness retreat? I'll see myself out.
Yeah, I do want to go to that
McCarthy's
point, though.
Kelsey box is presented by the people at Righteous Felon.
To that point, I want to go back to the
well worth it.
Did Aaron Glenn have to have him come across the country and do this? My answer is abso-freaking-lutely. How much money was the Jets paying him? Just consider how much money he's being paid for him to go dark on the Jets, an employee for this organization, and to absolutely go dark. He's even talked about, I got rid of my smartphone and now I carry around a brick phone that I don't have to answer all the time. Oh, of course I'm getting Aaron Rodgers on a plane and getting his ass in front of me. Like, that is where I'm at, where I'm like, get him in front of me. I need to know if his mentality is like checked in. And you guys have all heard me talk about this before. When you hear a guy talk about retirement, the moment those words come out, I'm already worried about him being checked out. So as much as I defended Aaron in kind of a knee-jerk reaction, let me be clear and say, I don't think he should play, because he's been talking about retirement for 2 years now. And then he's going dark and doing all this BS on the outside. Like, this dude doesn't care. He's sitting on a beach walking with a towel over his head, burning fires in a metal tin can. Like, that's what this dude is doing in his free time. What are we talking about? Is he ready to play in the NFL? The dude was out of shape last year. He was out of shape before his Achilles injury. He's out of shape now. And this is coming from a fat guy. Like, he makes me look semi in shape. And I'm not just talking about the circle. Like, this dude needs a reality check. He needs to get his head out of the clouds. Like, this is a joke that the fact that it's like, oh, he should have shown respect. No, screw that. His respect is in your paycheck. In his case, his respect is in his paycheck. That's where the respect is. So, yeah, you do the bidding of the Jets in this case. You fly cross country. You take this on the chin because you've sucked for the Jets. And that just is a fact. Like, you can't fight that if you're Aaron Rodgers. And any of this curing my image look is a joke. It's that image thing is long gone. Long gone. Since he threw his helmet when LaFleur decided to kick a field goal in a meaningless regular season game instead of letting Aaron go and plummet his head into a pile on 4th down. That was the moment Aaron Rodgers lost face.
I mean, I always thought he was an entertaining human being. I could care less about the politics or the health. I don't really care. Also, great choice in women, though. I'll give him that.
He ruined every single woman he's been with.
Yeah,
literally,
I was going to say, maybe for him, but not for them.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They've all claimed mental manipulation from him, which if one says it, maybe there's nothing. But when 7 say it,
he's ahead.
Maybe Cleveland should have taken notes as well in this conversation.
Well, yeah, he never got the Justin Tucker news, so I guess that's good.
I mean, listen, I'm still waiting to get the report that Deshaun Watson got busted his Achilles doing a TikTok dance with his wife.
I will not see it.
Well,
Yeah, we'll not
that's
see
the
that.
time
Even though, I
fiance.
guarantee, like, they're gonna have to. It cracks me up that like nobody's trying to. They don't have like PIs trying to investigate. This
Oh no, they do. It's an ongoing investigation. They don't have to make a decision until training camp, like August, September,
Dude,
or I guess July, August.
You know what's crazy?
But he
Kelsey,
can't even play until November.
Kelsey, I remember you came on. I think Cruz was on, and one other person. This was like 2 years ago when he first signed with Cleveland, and I remember because I was listening to the trial on my drive up to vacation, and texting you because you were coming on the show the next day, and I was like, dude, this is gonna be some crazy stuff. And then they're like, and to quote a certain member of the Pat McAfee show who did all the research on this court, they'd quit. They'd charge a sandwich, like they'd arraign a sandwich basically, and they didn't even find him of charge. I was like, what? I listened to the verdict live. I was like, no, they're not going to pursue charges.
Criminal charges.
I was
Be very clear.
What?
The burden for proving criminal cases is way higher.
I know.
Than the actual burden of
that certain employee. He said these guys, they have a reputation for indicting a sandwich. Like it does not matter to them. They will, because you can always.
But the lower courts all ruled in favor in the civil cases. All ruled in favor of the victims. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, listen, I'm not. Remember, we had like a 2-day takeover of this at Belly Up, where like we lost like 2 employees because they got offended because one other employee said something that wasn't even like offensive. It was just like they were sitting.
There was an employee that said some very offensive things.
Oh yes, that employee went over the top, and I was like, oh boy.
Yeah.
And the worst part is I had one of the employees who ended up quitting on my show that next day. And then I had another employee who said something even more offensive, but he didn't say it in the chat. He tried to say it on our show. I was like, no. He followed the offensive employee to another company.
I wish them the best.
I do too. I wish they'd show up to the Flag Football Expo. I want to kind of just
bless their heart.
I want to little bro them a little bit. Anyway, all right, we're gonna move on here.
Let the door hit you with a good Lord split you.
All right, gentlemen, it's time for the fun stuff. It's time to crack a 4-pack presented by Candidates. Promo code BELLYUP20 for 20% off your purchase at checkout. The best dip substitute on the market. Take it from a former dip head myself. It is a great product. All right, we're talking UFL. We're talking Panthers Showboats, the Friday night game. So Kelsey, me, Nate, and Matter were newer to this game. Why is this such a huge line? The Showboats every single game they played this year.
Every game but the Brahmas games have hit the under. So 8.5 is why it's only 8.5, despite Showboats losing their head coach again, finally. Officially losing their head coach again.
Youngest head coach in UFL history, by the way, 28 years old. Shout out.
Who? What?
The kid's name, I can't remember.
The interim, the guy.
Yeah, the interim head coach, youngest head coach in UFL
Yeah.
history,
That's
28 years old.
Well, I mean,
it's a long list of history.
So
it's still cool though. Like 28-year-old kids gonna be the coach. This is great.
Yeah, he's younger than me, and that makes me feel like I've done so much in my life. Panthers, on the other hand, are the second best team in the USFL division, and they were runners up in the USFL division last year. Absolutely talented. So this seems like an easy wash, but at the same time, it's the UFL, so you have to kind of weigh the over-unders here, and the unders have been hitting more often than not. I think they're like 75% hit rate for an under.
Yeah, they were talking about this. I think they had Aaron Dolan, the ESPN bet girl, on one of the games, and she literally goes, "Yeah, the over in this game is just never going to hit. Just always been the trend this year has been to bet the under." I'm like, yeah, no crap, it's been to bet the under.
Your best chances are to hit an over are Arlington versus Birmingham, and that's the only matchup that would be something that would be worth an over.
Yeah,
so Arlington's the only one that's hit the overs consistently.
You know, they set the over way too high for Defenders Battlehawks, and it was just Manny Wilkins was awful last week. Oh my Lord. All right. We're going around the horn. Anybody got the showboats here?
Can't say I do.
Well, clean sweep, McCarthy. You gonna be the wedge in this, or are you gonna go with the Panthers?
I'm not paying much of attention to the UFL. I've got my eye mostly on arena football because Albany Firebirds. The 4-0 Albany Firebirds, mind you.
There you go.
But I'll go with Panthers because it's just because.
Bryce Perkins.
That's our boy Zach's team, so we got to show some love to Big Zach. We'll see him next Thursday, which I'm hyped to see him again. He's supposed to come on the show again with us around, I guess, the middle of the season. So that's in about 2 weeks, so we'll get him back on, and I can yell how I knew Mac. If Manny Wilkins does not pick it up next week, I'm gonna be very upset. Anyway, we play the Renegades this week. Speaking of those Renegades taking on my Battlehawks, Nate.
God.
We're taking each other on twice on Saturday. Let's go.
Nate's so excited.
Yay.
Nate, I think you're just cursed in football, but like in other sports, you're blessed.
Just basketball.
Oh, come on. The A's are fun this year.
Fun is like being over 500 consistently.
Nate, you got to look at it from an optimism standpoint. My Diamondbacks were terrible for years. I know how to be optimistic when there's nothing to look at. Getting stomped by Kelsey's Giants every year was always kind of that thing. And then the Dodgers, and then now we've become the thorn in the side. It's fun. Anyway, Renegades, Battlehawks, will Manny Wilkins bounce back from an abysmal 4+ turnover performance last week against the Defenders? Matt's team's the only undefeated team still. They're taking on the Renegades, who had a tough loss last week. Rough. I listen. I'm going with my boys. Go Battlehawks. Caw-caw! There's no way Manny Wilkins is this bad 2 weeks in a row. Luis Perez has been great, but the Renegades have beaten okay teams. I mean, then again, so the Battlehawks. I don't know. This is going to tell who's actually the better team. So give me the Battlehawks here.
So I want to pick the Renegades because I'm a big Luis Perez guy, but just looking at, I mean, they had that 33-point game the first week, and then after that they scored, I believe it was 19 points in the last 2 weeks, 10 and 9 each week. And the Battlehawks, they have a very good defense. And Manny Wilkins, I mean, he had a rough game last week. Everybody has a rough game. But I like that Battlehawks defense.
They get after the quarterback. That's my favorite part about it.
That's the thing. I think Luis Perez is going to have a good statistical game, but I think I'm going to take the Battlehawks here for a bounce-back game. Wilkins has his ups and downs, but he can make some plays, and I think the Battlehawks win this one.
All right. Kels?
Battlehawks defense, by the way, the second worst in the XFL conference. The best defense that you're looking for is the Renegades. Number one defense in the entire UFL. I love Luis Perez is the king of spring. That's what he is. He is one at every single point in spring football, except for since he's joined the USFL. He's an absolute competitor. He's gotten to a championship game in all but one of those years. Didn't win in the USFL side, but he is that good as a quarterback in spring. And that Renegades team has a bunch of weapons, and the Battlehawks defense isn't good enough. And I'm going Renegades in this one.
Which means the Battlehawks are going to win.
Yeah, I feel more confident.
Really? Because I was like definitely 3 out of 4 in the last time I did this.
Kelsey, it's because when you make a solid guarantee, it's like a 50-50 shot. It's going to shatter. So
it's just a running joke now.
Yeah, it's been a running joke.
It doesn't even mean anything. It's just a running joke.
Since Tulane, we've had this joke.
I've missed 3. Okay, I'm sorry that I've missed
They
3
killed
bets.
all 3 of our parlays. All right, Nate, who you taking?
Trust me.
Are you gonna be a Kelsey free agent for this season, or are you gonna actually stick with the Renegades here?
I guess our defense is pretty good. Fine. If I'll pick the Renegades, and if they freaking lose, I swear I'm gonna be a free agent. I'm gonna lose my crap. Even the Renegades. It's not fun. I like I said, it's just not fun. It's not fun.
I'm the second best team in the XFL conference.
It's not fun. Ever since
top
I became
3
a fan,
team
they
in
put
the
up
league.
9 points and 11 points. It's like the Giants part 2.
and they've won one of those 2 games.
I don't care. I still didn't have fun when the Giants won 11-2 or 11-6. It's not fun. No, I can't have fun. The Lakers are fun. The Giants aren't fun. The A's aren't fun.
Maybe you need to pick better teams, is what I'm hearing.
I can't.
You can.
I
You
can't
have
love them.
6 teams in every league out in the state of California.
I'm good.
Like, you can pick any one of the 6. Take your
You want to be a Sharks fan?
Like, dude, like,
Don't be a
honestly,
Sharks fan. No, that's the limit. Don't be a Sharks
That's
fan.
misery.
Yeah,
Trust me, don't
they
be a
haven't
Sharks
been relevant since they lost to the Penguins. What was that? 2011.
16.
No, 2016. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was sitting in a bar in Montana when that happened.
Yeah, Joe Thornton was on that squad. He was oldest than
Brian Burns.
He was old as a dinosaur. One of the few Penguins that Penguins championship, I was in a bar as well, wearing my Penguins snapback and my Crosby T-shirt, wasted at a bar. I turned to a hockey fan the second the playoffs start if my team's in.
I was
Saturday. They start Saturday, man.
I was force fed tequila during that Sharks losing streak, and I still claim that's the reason why the Sharks lost. By the way, in case nobody knows, I am a Sharks fan. That's why I say don't be a Sharks fan.
You swept my doubles this year too. You had that to hang your hat on.
All right. All right, so Nate's going Renegades. Kel's going with the Renegades. McCarthy, you're the tiebreaker here.
Battlehawks, because they're at home.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Also, it's destiny. They announced the championship game is in St. Louis this year. That St. Louis will not make it to the championship game again.
I know. I the second they announced Danny Garcia announced, I was like, son of a bitch.
They just moved back again.
You know what? I was really hoping, like, I was worried, like, getting into spring football this year. We did the preview with Zach. We've been covering it every single week. We're actually going to be doing a Wednesday football only podcast where or Tuesday only. We'll kind of just do it as a pre-recorded video. And like, we're calling it the corner route. During the spring season, we talk only UFL. During the NFL season, we talk only NFL. And I'm excited for that, obviously, but I was really worried, obviously, that I wouldn't get into the UFL. Oh no, I'm getting into it. Like when Manny Wilkins had last interception, I literally spiked my beer can, and I'm like, I feel like I'm watching a Hurricanes or Eagles game. Like, I gotta chill. Like, this is spring football right now. But I'm liking it so far. The product's been good.
We all know a lot about Zach Kallman, but the one thing I will say that as I've known him for a long time, we always talk about football is back, right? That statement when the NFL draft is here, and then you take that break, and then you have
never left.
No, he gets mad. Zach will get mad about that because football never leaves.
No,
it is a year-round sport. Depending on which league you want to watch, it's a year-round sport. And I get it now. I've gotten it for the last 4 years with spring football and arena and NFL. I get it now. College.
It's really funny to me. Like, I'm actually like enjoying the games. Like, I'm actually pissed. I'm actually going to be doing tree work on Saturday during this game, so I have to watch the replay. And I'm mad as hell about that, but my family needs help dropping trees, and I'm the only one with working shoulders, just not a working elbow. Thanks, demo job. Partially hyperextended my elbow on Thursday. Not fun. Or Wednesday, not fun.
I had that before.
Yeah, it's okay. I bought the copper fit sleeve. I iced it, heated it. Listen,
there's no way the elbow is the hardest one to deal with hyperextension on.
It was so slight. It was so slight where I was able to, like, I got my strength back instantly. It's aching. But, like, I don't need to pitch or hit until next Wednesday. I'll have a game till the 27th. I'm fine. I don't care. So I still, even at the age of 30, heal pretty quickly. So I might have dodged a bullet. But anyway, I'm full on in the Battlehawks. I hope Hakeem Butler comes back soon from his hamstring injury. Really kind of bugging me. He hasn't had a catch yet this year because everyone's double covering him, but whatever. I do love how the Battlehawks are committed to running the football like crazy, which is fun. It gives me a reminder of the Eagles, just the concept of the running of the football. But Matt's defenders kind of made a point of stopping it. Speaking of those defenders, I believe they're the next game. If not, nope. We're going to Kelsey Stallions. Stallions Roughnecks. Now, I thought this line was going to be bigger, but the Roughnecks actually played a very, very interesting game, upsetting The Renegades last week. It was the They upset the Renegades, right? No, it was the Showboats. They beat the Showboats, right? Why am I'm blanking on this right now?
Showboats, yeah.
Yeah, they beat the Showboats. It was a nail biter. I picked the Showboats to win, but I like the Roughnecks because they have a very scrappy defense with my boy Cornelder, and I'm partial here, man. Like, Kelsey, this is your Stallions. Are they going to stampede right through?
It's not going to be like a stampede, but I think they're going to win. But it's going to be a close matchup. I think this is going to be like a 3-point game. Seems to be where they all come down to right now. 3 points or a late turnover, so it decides it. But yeah, give me the Stallions in this one. I think the Stallions figured it out after week 1 and that disappointment. I think they figured out what they have to do, and they're kind of getting, because they're retooling every year. That team is retooled 4 times. They're going for a 4-peat. I'm not going to assume they're going to get a 4-peat, but they're going for it. And it's hard until the champion gets completely knocked out. You can't count them out with a 7.5 point spread. That seems crazy to me. So yeah, give me the Stallions in this one, especially considering the Roughnecks, again, not that great a defense.
They're statistically they're not good, but they always seem to be like just a pain. Like nothing ever looks like it's a wide open hole. Kind of.
The Roughnecks, who are 1-2 on the season, have given up 59 points, which is the third most behind the Brahmas, who are lossless at 85 given up, and the Showboats at 60 with 61 given up. They've only given up 2 less points than the Showboats.
I will say this though,
and they've scored less points than the Showboats.
I do like the quarterback switch. I do appreciate that because their offenses look like it's moving the ball.
But yeah, no, give me the Stallions. Easy for me.
I know this is your squad. All right, Nate.
Roughnecks.
Ooh.
I love it. Let's go for the upset. By the way, I wrote this wrong.
Huh?
1 second. It's plus 7.5.
Oh no! Never mind. We're going the other way. No upsets today, except the Renegades.
Nate's sticking shock. All right.
I'm 7-5. So.
And me and Matt are I swear I thought Matt had one more went 2-2 last week, but I guess I'm wrong here. Speaking of Matt, who are you taking here?
I'm taking the Stallions. I'm not a big fan of the Roughnecks defense or team as a whole, and the Stallions are playing much better with Matt Corral under center. It's got to come down to the interceptions, but he's got over 450 yards passing the last 2 appearances he's had. So I'm going to take the hot hand and take the Stallions in this one.
Where did this line come from just now? How did I look down and look back up, and all of a sudden it's a plus 7.5 here?
Well, because the line was Stallions minus 7.5, but it was a lot quicker.
Oh, okay. So I was right by saying the 7.5 point favorite for the Roughnecks was wild.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank goodness. I stand by my pick, by the way.
That was I was writing these down, and I just kept putting the home team. This was the last one, obviously, I put in the order, even though it's not the last game. And I basically just wrote it in because the Stallions were 7.5 point favorites. I was like, whatever. And then I just didn't realize, they're not the home team. I was like, crap. So I just said it's easier just to put a plus in there than just try to flip everything. Anyway, I'm going to quote your co-host. I think the Roughnecks cover, but Stallions win. They play annoying football. Statistically, they should be terrible, but they play annoying football. So give me
they are terrible.
Yes, they are terrible.
Their record backs up that they are terrible.
But give me them to cover because somehow they will cover. But yeah, I'll take the Stallions to win. Honestly, me and Matt being tied changes a lot of my picks now. So give me Stallions. I want that Battlehawks new era hat. Speaking of Matt's team, McCarthy.
Stallions win, Roughnecks cover.
Ooh, rocking with your boy. All right, Brahmas defenders. This one ain't an error. I thought this was going to be a lot longer. I don't understand how this is the line, though. Because the Brahmas are awful, and Matt's defenders the best team in football.
How many unders have been hit this year?
I understand it's the unders, but it might be 14-0, honestly. The Brahmas can't score.
And neither can the defender. I mean, they can, but they're not the highest scoring team in the league.
They score because of the defense.
They're the third highest scoring team in the league. And they've also given up 38 points a game, which is like, second best, but still not. Let's be honest.
Defenders
when the league hits 75% unders, everything's going to have a 7.5 to 10 point spread. It's not going to be 24, 21, 14. That's wild. Like, have we seen a 35 point, 40 point game yet this year? I don't even think we have.
No, I think the biggest one we had was 11, 15 points.
Yeah. I'm saying in general was have you seen a 42?
Oh no! That's what I'm
game?
saying. The biggest lead. I think
it was a.
Oh no!
I think it was a 33-9 game first.
Yeah, that was the Battlehawks kicked this snot out of the Brahmas week 1 or whatever.
So obviously, I'm going defenders here. My issue with the defenders is that one, this defense is great. They put up points because the defense turns the ball over and gets them within the red zone whenever they want them to. The problem with me that I'm having with this team is that it's been 3 weeks and I'm not seeing a settled in Jordan Ta'amu. He is just overthrowing guys. He is not on his mark. He's just not. If you look at his quarterback play, it's very inconsistent. So it's a blessing on this defense as to why they're 3-0, because if they didn't have all those turnovers last week and they had to rely on Jordan, I don't think I think the game would have went a different way. But I'm constantly watching him overthrow guys, just off his mark, doesn't look like he's settling and he's meshing well. It looks like he might be seeing ghost. And it's just the amount of thirds and outs, or it's just very frustrating when your defense gets a turnover and you get them within the 25 yards and you can't even put the points on the board. You got to rely on the kicker because he just is not getting the job done at his position. I'm still taking the defenders, obviously, against the Brahmas. The defense is why they're 3-0.
Fitting they're called the defenders.
Yeah. And the beer snake's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Matt, we know you like the beer snake. Okay.
By the way, that's Jordan Ta'amu's entire spring career summed up perfectly.
Yeah. I just watched him, waiting for him. I'm waiting for him to finally have a game where he completes over that 50% mark and he actually looks good with his passes. But I just see these guys even when they jump up at their highest, their fingertips still don't hit the ball.
Yeah. It's not good.
All right. I'm going with the defenders as well. Listen, I think the Brahmas may actually be the worst team in the league. I don't understand how this team goes from – I understand you obviously lose players here and there. I understand how they go from being one of the – I believe they were the runner-up or the semifinal runner-up last year to –
They were in the championship last year, yeah.
Championship, yes. They were the runner-up last year to not even winning a game yet. I don't get I understand. I believe they lost their quarterback, so that's why I have Kellen Mond in. Bear with me here. This is the first year I've actually intensely covered this league. I watched them against the Battlehawks. I watched them against week 2. They played. They looked off in week 2 as well. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But they looked bad in every game I watched. So they look terrible. Give me the defenders. They looked unstoppable on defense on Sunday. And I don't think the Brahmas are going to come close. Even though it'd be a fun upset pick.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the Brahmas have a losing record last year when they got into the playoffs?
Which really cracks me. Yeah, you're right. Actually, they did.
Yeah, and they beat.
They were they won. They got in. They got in on a tiebreaker.
Yeah. So there's your answer for how they fell off. They didn't really fall off. They just
got worse.
Everybody got a little better.
Yep. Fair enough. All right.
Sorry. The Brahmas finished 7-3. By the way, sorry. My apologies. 7-3.
Okay. Nate, are you going to take your former squad? Or are you going defenders?
Nope. we're going defenders for sure. Matt, kill him, please.
We'll do.
Why not?
Jordan going to go 19 for 39, but we're going to win.
You know what? Why not? Let's go with the Brahmas. Upset special.
I love it. McCarthy's not here. Being upset.
Why not? Chaos. Let's go, baby. Chaos.
I mean, listen, it'd be so funny after, they put up such a great performance against the Battlehawks just to lose to the Brahmas the week after. I'm like, the UFL's officially here, baby. All right. We do have to talk about Nico Harrison and Dallas. Obviously, Kelsey, I know your Kings cut bait with their GM today.
I hired a new GM in the same
which I was
12-hour span.
Because you texted me, hey, they fired the GM. And I go and check my phone after, and I'm like, oh, they hired a new one already. I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah. All after losing to Nico and the Mavericks.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys saw Nico Harrison and the Mavs had a closed doors press conference, no recorders. It was him talking, and the ESPN reporter Tim, is it McMahon? Who's the reporter that was getting into it with him?
McManus, I think.
No, yeah, it might be McManus, but it was McManus. That's what I was talking about. Okay, so Tim McManus was in the press conference, and he kept asking about the trades and everything else, and Nico Harrison kept repeating the Eagles win championships, and apparently he was getting very testy and very heated, and after all this, the Mavs win. So the Mavs I believe, the Mavs. They've clinched the 7th seed at this point, right?
Nope.
Or no, they still play one more game.
Yeah, they have to play one more game for the 8th seed. The 7th seed was 7 seeds have been clinched by the Warriors on the West and the Magic on the East.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Mavs play the 7 or 8 seed, which off the top of my head, it's whoever lost to Golden State the other night.
That would be the Grizzlies.
There you go. So they play the Grizzlies.
Grizzlies Mavs tonight for the 8 seed, which I mean it's basically who's going to get smoked by Golden State Bowl. But Oklahoma City. Force of habit. Golden State was the number 1 seed in the West forever. Anyway.
Sorry, it's McMahon. It's Tim McMahon.
Tim McMahon. Yep.
McMahon.
Yeah. So Tim McMahon apparently kept asking. He was on another show talking about the press conference and summarizing it, and it seemed so uncomfortable, and kept repeating himself, kept saying really vague answers. I love the whole theory that they're just tanking to get the Mavericks out of Dallas because it's so evident, but nobody wants to say it. It's all about gambling. Because the Mavericks' new owners wanted to put a casino off the arena. And, of course, because there's no gambling in Texas, that got axed. So now it's throwing a temper tantrum, and they want to move it to Vegas or wherever.
That's not going to be a franchise that gets moved.
Oh, yeah, that was my opinion. It feels like a Wile E. Coyote plan to me. That's the vibe it gives me. But
New Orleans, sure.
Yeah.
Sacramento, probably. If it wasn't for the new stadium, Toronto, possibly. Memphis, still possible. The city loves them too much, but still possible.
Yeah. Hell, if it wasn't for the last run of playoff appearances, Minnesota was probably right up there too.
Nah, the city also still loves them too much.
Yeah, there's a weird love of the Timberwolves in Minnesota, which I think is really kind of cool.
Oh, sorry. For a long time, they only had the Twins.
Yeah.
And the Vikings.
The Vikings weren't good either. Listen,
nobody wanted to sit outside and watch the Vikings games.
I have a family member who's a Vikings fan. I have heard everything in the book. Okay, at this point, my poor father has suffered through so many.
From Fran Tarkenton to
that's his boy,
Randy Moss. There wasn't a whole lot to cheer for.
I know. Anyway, all right. So obviously, we'll find out the results. Playoffs start the actual regular round starts on Saturday. I'm taking on Nate. Let's go, buddy. I'm not.
Lakers in 5. Don't even worry about it, boss.
Thanks, Shannon Sharp.
I really hope we do to you guys what we did to the Suns last year.
Who's guarding Luka? I'm asking you. Who was guarding Luka, bro? I'm telling you right. Who's guarding Luka? Don't.
Jaden McDaniels, baby.
Oh, good Lord, have mercy. Oh my God. All right.
And Edwards is gonna call him Fat Boy the entire time up and down the court.
Yeah, he probably will. He's funny. I like him. He's funny. I will say.
I just want to know who's guarding Austin Reeves.
Kelsey, my man. I
I
appreciate that. Yes, sir.
I hate to say who's guarding Austin Reeves, who's guarding Rui. Rui is fantastic as a third piece, fourth piece. He is that guy. He's not a superstar.
If he can hit his threes, I'll take it. I just need
he starts on the defensive end. Let him go cook on. He plays a 5 at times.
I want
Can you
Vandal
imagine
on
the
Edwards.
stress that Rudy Gobert is going to be under trying to guard?
You want Vanderbilt?
I want. I mean, he is our best defender. I'm being serious. I'm not trying to.
The former Timberwolf Vanderbilt, who you literally traded away for a box of donuts.
I will say that it's all going to depend for you guys specifically, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but like it's going to be on Julius Randle because
Julius Randle shows up,
because this is a series. If he's going to dominate, it's this series because we're going to go small, and it's like Gobert's going to be suffering, but Randle. I'm just saying.
I think this is I think obviously you know what you're going to get. There's going to be a barrage of 3-pointers, a couple poster dunks, a couple attacks in the basket, a lot of shit talking, and then you're going to get some occasional points from Connolly, Dillingham, and the rest of them. And I'm the two keys to me, yes, are our forwards. It's which Jaden McDaniel shows up and which Randall shows up. If they both show up for the series,
it's gonna be a good one.
We got a shot. It's a 7-gamer. It's just which Timberwolves team shows up. If it's the team that choked away a 30-point loss to the Bucks, we're screwed. If the team that took the Nuggets to double overtime and then stomped them in double overtime, yes, then that it's they're the most inconsistent team in basketball for how much talent they have. So we'll find out. So there's a lot of series they talked about. It's like I am not even going to care about Boston or Cleveland or Golden State or OKC or who the 2 seed in the West is.
The Rockets.
The Warriors in 6.
And they have to play.
Yeah, that's the one where I'm kind of like, but the other 3 where you got, listen, Cleveland's going to stop them. Boston's going to stop them. And then Oklahoma City might railroad whoever ends up being the 8th seed right out of the building. But there's a lot of experience between Butler and Draymond and Cat Curry on Golden State, whereas you've like Green and a lot of these guys on Houston. It's a little weird. One
second
team
best
I
young
think,
team right now. Like literally, I think their average age is 24 as well as
I know
OKC's. And they have Steven Adams. I'll say that in the Rockets too.
Who's like 1,000.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they have Steven Adams and Jeff Green, which is what pushes their age up to 24, not 22.
Age. I don't really care about age; it's more playoff experience. Like they were here last year, and they got killed by Luka and Kyrie.
Yeah. I'm not saying the Rockets have a chance. I'm just saying I find it hilarious that they're so young and so they're 2 years ahead of the curve where they're supposed to be.
One hot take I keep seeing is that Detroit might make some noise.
They can. I have Pistons in 7.
They are a nasty, mean. They are playing old school Pistons basketball again. It actually makes me kind of excited to watch the series. I do love how they've kind of built the team around Cade. It's kind of a nice kind of surprise. And they've got a lot of dudes who just want to slug. Listen, they got in a fight with my Timberwolves, and I was like, "This is great. This is Pistons basketball. I like this."
The question is, can JB coach the team in the right ways at the right times? That's been JB Bickerstaff's complete complaint. Mm-hmm. With Cleveland, with now Detroit, it's been, can he win the big one?
I have not followed the Bucks a lot this year. I know Giannis is playing well. Is Dame out? He's out.
He's out to start. He was cleared.
Okay.
He's cleared for contact.
Yeah, he might make it by game 3, game 4. Depends on how.
You guys gotta understand, the NBA is my 4th sport, so it's kind of like I'm trying to I watch my Timberwolves. I watch them. I try to watch them every time they're on. But outside of that, I'm literally catching up on headlines.
I don't even know what your 3rd sport is. Do you even watch a 3rd sport?
College football.
It's spring, bro.
So UFL takes its spot at 3rd. NFL headlines take primary. Then it's baseball. Then it's UFL. Then it's basketball.
Then it's golf.
Yes.
Then playoff hockey.
Yes.
And then tennis.
No, that's college baseball.
I'm dying on the inside as you guys are saying these things.
Boxing.
Can we introduce you to
I'd rather watch European soccer.
Can we introduce you to the CFL?
No, I'm just like.
No,
the world's most famous sport is being ignored by 4 out of the 5 people in here.
Soccer. The MLL.
Enough.
Yeah, the National Lacrosse League. Come on.
That is actually a top 5 sport in the world, by the way, lacrosse. So that qualifies.
Yeah.
Olympic sport in 2028.
Listen,
7-on-7.
Kelsey, if you can sell me on a European team to follow, I will start watching European soccer. I just don't have a team.
I will give you 3.
Listen, my boy Lewandowski still plays for Barcelona. He's just old as a freaking fossil. So
No, I don't think you're going to be a Barcelona guy. I think you'd be a Real Madrid guy.
Ooh.
I think you would
You
be
would.
a Manchester City guy. And I think you'd be a Bayern Munich guy.
Bayern Munich is wait, no, Pulisic plays for Chelsea now. Right?
Pulisic now plays for Inter Milan.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Absolutely.
Sorry, AC. Sorry, he plays for AC Milan.
Captain America.
Who Ronaldinho played for in the past.
Yes. Ronaldinho's also played for PSG, and he's also played for Barcelona and 17 other teams.
Ronaldinho is like my first international player I loved growing up. Yeah. So there is some soccer knowledge there. It just takes a while to kind of dig it out of the trunk.
Hold on a second. So one of the Minnesota Timberwolves owners has interest in the Philadelphia Union and the New Jersey, New York Gotham Football Club.
Is it Mark Lowry or is it A-Rod?
Sorry?
Is Mark Lowry, isn't it?
No, it's Kevin Durant.
That's right. I forgot he's a Philadelphia guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't we sweep Kevin Durant last year?
Hold on.
That's crazy.
Hold on a second here.
I mean,
are you getting
Minnesota? No, Kevin. There's a Kevin Durant who's one of the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I was like, that doesn't even make sense because we swept them last year.
Well, most importantly, are you saying he wants to buy the Jets? What are we saying?
No Jets were mentioned in that.
I just want to sell the team so bad.
Not yet. He's got to buy the Union and he's got to buy the Gotham City.
I mentioned this on a radio show in Albany, New York. I said there was no way that the Johnsons will sell the team until they win a Super Bowl.
It's never,
which
will never happen. Which will never happen as long as they're owners.
And it's not like we have anything to look forward to. It's a 17-year-old kid.
Listen, we said this about who is the family that owned the Jets before the Dodgers?
The Hess family. The Hess family. Robert Hess.
No. Who owned the Dodgers before the Johnsons? Magic Johnson's group took over.
Who cares?
They had the big scandal with the divorce and everything.
I know who you're referring to. It's Mick something. It's Mick.
McCourt.
The McCourt family. Yeah, you need a McCourt or a Donald Sterling level scandal created by the NFL.
Didn't that happen? Didn't one of the Johnsons have that happen to him?
Yeah, they had a
Woody Johnson was accused of telling off-color jokes as the UK ambassador in the first Trump administration.
And that didn't do anything.
It didn't do crap.
Bring it up.
No, it didn't do anything.
Survived. So literally,
no traction.
I feel bad for Jets fans because they're in the same boat as Cowboys fans who are realistic, where you're stuck.
And the Raiders fans pre-Al Davis's departure.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you're stuck until there's a calling from Captain Death and.
Not even, because then it's like at the time, whenever that happens, his kids will be like 26.
Where's Brick at?
Yeah, but that's the thing. So you have to worry about that lineage. Obviously, Dallas has to worry about Stephen Jones, but there's also the fact that the NFL can veto that family pass down. So owners committee can rule that a 26-year-old isn't fit to run the Jets anymore because they've been so abysmal for so long.
I can't believe a freaking 77-year-old man has a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old.
I can't.
Thank God for the Giants. Am I right? Whew, man.
If Bill Belichick has
really the Maras. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
the Maras.
Okay, the Maras who are blindly delusional, hanging on to the past.
There's the first time in team history that this year a black quarterback will start. Come on. In 101 years of the franchise.
Wait, Tyrod wasn't.
No, as an opening as a week 1 starter.
Oh, week 1 starter.
Okay. No, Geno Smith started it.
He started week 17 or 16.
No, this is as an opening.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Opening day starter. All right, so we're back.
Geno Smith, 2013 opening day starter. I was there.
Giants.
With the Giants, not
Giants.
Giants. Jeez.
The other side of the same stadium.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry, Nate. Good job, Nate.
It's a crap stadium, by the way.
Getting somewhere, Nate.
Giant recycling can. Anyway, I have my opinions obviously about MetLife. Anyway, the last part of our show.
Not buried at the 9.
What is it?
At least Hoffa's not buried at the 9 anymore.
True. All right.
Allegedly.
Last part of our show. We've been doing this bracket since March Madness ended.
I work with the Teamsters. It's maybe a little more than the Legends
A
League.
little too on the nose there, Kelsey.
Yeah. Yeah. We might need to put a protection detail on Kelsey.
Yeah, I don't know anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
What do you mean? I don't know.
They didn't used to be the mob at all. That's not proven or factual or anything.
I mean, my favorite was the dock workers union. The guy had like an $80,000 chain around his neck when they were talking about the strike. That was like the most. That was the most mobbed up thing I've ever seen in my life.
The worst part is, so that guy is like he's a ship-in from. He was originally a Teamster and then became a dock worker halfway through his life.
Okay, so that's true.
After the Hoffa incident, he became a dock worker.
Okay, so bear in mind, Kelsey, I know Yumi obviously difficult.
It's not a political thing. It's a
fact. No. I heard it on like either one of Carlson's guys or his show himself talking about the strike, and somebody brought up the fact that this dude came in from the Teamsters union, and I was like,
it was a long time ago. Yeah,
I know that's what they were saying. Like that just seems like
he's part of the old regime from the Teamsters.
Well, he looks like old regime. He's an Italian gentleman with a shaved head and earring and a big chain that like gives Jalen Hurts like neck pains.
The dude is sketchy beyond all sketchy. The strike made sense because if you're a person, do you really want to be replaced by a computer? No. So do you trust your entirety of your goods being brought to the United States by computer? I don't. But you know what? That's just me.
Yeah, listen, there's about 60% of the American workers have heard we're going to get replaced by computers. So I understand the whole thing. Okay, like listen, I work
in only 10% are in threat of it.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Hey, look at you, beer.
It's a whole fear mongering.
Yeah, I was like, we still have beer. We're good.
Yeah, wait. Is C3PO going to pour me a beer right now? Like, what's going on? All right. We're moving on to the last part of our show, KB Bracketology, presented by SeatGeek. Promo code Belly Sports for $20 off your initial purchase at checkout. First one only. So the bracket has concluded. We are now at the final matchup, the number 2 seed NFL playoffs, taking on March Madness.
What happened to soccer? What happened to the World Cup? I got to know.
Where's the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Jared ruined it for all of us because he wanted to put, he had the authority over everyone and just put.
Oh, so he teamsterized the bracketology.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy Hoffa, Senior. Junior. not Junior. No, Junior's actually not bad.
All right. We'll go around the horn here. Kelsey, I have a feeling where you're going with this. Who are you taking?
I'm taking the nuclear bomb to option, and I'm going to alternate your reality with my own with the World Cup.
No, it doesn't count.
I'm Doctor Stranging it. I don't know. This is ridiculous. March Madness. That's my pick.
That is quite okay. All right.
NFL playoffs is dumb compared to March Madness.
No, March Madness is elite, even though this year kind of sucked. Anyway, McCarthy.
It's my third option, a Meteor.
Okay, everyone's acting like this is the 2020 election. We got to stop, okay?
You deny it. We deny it. Like at this point in time, we're just all going to accept that this should not be the case.
He wants NHL. You want FIFA. I have spoken.
One of us is wrong, and it's not McCarthy.
I wanted ping pong, but there wasn't a choice for that. So unfortunately, we're
getting jumped by I'm getting jumped by a furball who wanted attention.
Oh, and who also wanted soccer.
No, she didn't.
That's right.
Off my shoulder.
That's right.
With the claws, really?
Yep, exactly. She wanted soccer.
Ain't going anywhere.
Say hello.
Hello.
Wanted the World Cup.
Get off my shoulder.
Hello, Kitty.
Can we revisit his bracketology when the World Cup's here next year, and he gets to see what the World Cup looks like in real life?
Yeah, we should.
When that happens, you can review my.
The billions of people who watch the World Cup.
Oh my God! Take a vote and move on. We're at 34 already.
You said March Madness.
All right, Nate, go.
My turn. I didn't get my say.
Okay, fine, McCarthy, go.
NFL playoffs. There.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yes, sir.
Nate, go.
Oh.
NFL playoffs, baby.
Hell
Always.
yeah. Maddie?
All right, so I'm not gonna lie. Even though I'm not the world's biggest basketball guy. March Madness is pretty crazy. And I love the NFL, but March Madness is crazy because there's every now and then you get the number 1 seed gets knocked off by the number 14 seed, and it's just absolutely insane. So I'm going to go March Madness.
So it's up to you, boss.
I get the deciding vote.
Again.
I'm going with March Madness.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So here's the thing.
I'm shocked.
The NFL playoffs is my favorite time of year. It's also my most stressful time of year. But there is nothing more awesome than the entire country coming together over failed brackets, bad bets, and some college you went to 20 years ago that's your alma mater or a team you root for because you're too poor to go to that school. That'd be my case. Anyway, so.
Or you just watched a documentary one time.
Well, we're talking about basketball. Basketball, I'm a Tar Heels fan because I loved Vince Carter, Stackhouse, all those players growing up. Listen, we know all about this. I've been a Tar Heels fan since like before I even knew college football.
Please take the Ed Reed jersey down when you talk about your North Carolina fandom.
I am Miami for everything except basketball. We've had this conversation 1,000
times.
But
it doesn't make it better.
Listen, I want them to switch conferences so I can make this not hurt as much, okay? I hate this more than you do. So
you got murdered in the SEC?
I literally hate this, okay? Because I should not have to hate North Carolina, but I do because they have a rivalry. It drives me crazy.
You know who hates North Carolina? Everybody. You know who hates Duke? Everybody. You know who likes North Carolina? For some reason, you. And I can't figure it out.
I like Duke. And
go in your penalty box.
Okay.
Nobody
brought to you by Righteous Felon.
There he goes. Nice job. Nice plug. All right. Yeah, I'm going with March Madness. It's one of those events everyone looks forward to every year. I have people at my last job. I had our head of human resources who's never watched sports a day in her life fill out the bracket and she won. Okay, that's how crazy and out of control that sport is and how crazy that tournament is. NFL playoffs, yeah, everyone loves it, but if your team's not in, it kind of becomes a casual viewing thing. March Madness, dude, there's a game on. I've seen guys get written up for having the games on their screen in their office. I love it. It's a different thing. NFL playoffs is an amazing American creation, but March Madness is a whole different breed. It controls an entire month. When you get away from my laptop, you're driving me crazy.
Oh, kitty.
That was a pure rebuttal, by the way, from the cat. That was a complete rebuttal in saying we needed a World Cup conversation in this.
Will you shut up at the World Cup? Jeez.
Well, because some reason you claim the NFL playoffs is American, but March Madness, which was created in America, was not an American creation.
No, they're both American creations.
All right.
I never said it wasn't. I never said it wasn't.
You just highlighted the NFL being American. And
yeah, the NFL is America's sport. But here's the thing.
Is football America's sport?
Yes.
Is it?
It's not America's pastime. That'd be baseball. They've kept that moniker forever.
But is it still America's sport? Because I think we have a pretty good argument for hockey.
And we've kept the Stanley Cup since 1994.
We just own Canada. That's what happens in NHL and Stanley Cup victories.
Well, anyway, we can't own any other country in the NFL. We can literally own other countries in NHL and basketball.
All right, I'm done with this. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Quarters Podcast. Congratulations.
Coming soon, Greenland.
I'm done with this. I'm hungry and I'm tired. All right. I'm pulling my show card. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you can find this handsome gentleman. He's going to plug his own stuff. So here we go. Ryan.
You can catch No Credentials Required. The live show is on Tuesdays at 6:30 Eastern, Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern for the Saturday brunch. And podcast available soon after. Our replays are on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel.
Shout out to my boy Dustin.
Yeah.
All right, Kels. Anything you want to plug? Because we know we can find you at Everything High Low Sports live show just came out yesterday for Wednesday.
I just thought you were going to keep going. You're just doing my plug for me. But no.
I do the plug for you and DJ. It's my bet.
Yeah. We got next week NFL Draft, Belly Up coverage for NFL Draft. DJ will be hosting. I'll be co-hosting. You'll see the goon over to my, I don't know which direction, this way.
Left.
Right is what hand I just lifted up. He'll be dropping his big top 50 board, as will Vince from the Stowe Report. God, I always mess up Vince's show.
Sports Stove.
Sports
Thank
Stove.
you, Sports Stove. I just want to call it the Stove Report. It just sounds so much
It
cooler.
sounds better. I know.
Sounds much
every
better.
time. I just
told you that before on this show, and I feel horrible, but it's like
I let you guys take that one for me. But no, Vince obviously will be on the show as well, dropping his board. So we'll be using you guys as our Mel Kiper and Todd McShay's, and we'll be getting special
it's on Mel
guest
Kiper.
appearances. You'll be whichever idiot I want to call you. So that's what it will be.
Todd.
But no, we're gonna have a bunch of different appearances from all over Belly Up Sports and beyond. So it'll be really cool. A lot of fun every year, and maybe you might see a couple guest sponsorships for this one.
Ooh. Sneaky. All right. That is it. Also, so by the way, other announcement, besides our newest addition to the Corner Booth programming, we're going to introduce the Corner Route podcast. That is going to be starting in the next 2 weeks. Me, Matt, and Nate, or me, Nate, me, and Matt, Matt, and Nate. It's kind of going to be a little bit of a combination. We'll be talking nothing but football. During the spring, it'll be nothing but, obviously, UFL. Once we get into the NFL season, it'll be nothing but NFL and maybe some college football sprinkled in. Anyway, it is going to be nothing but football all the time. No interference. Kind of be a Wednesday 30-minute show, kind of like a little fun, almost insider of the NFL kind of vibe. But other than that, next Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, as is tradition for the last 5 years, we are charged with doing the intro, the pregame show for the NFL draft. We start at 6 o'clock next Thursday, going to 7:30. We'll be doing the pregame show. Any pre-draft rumors, any Laramie Tunsil with the little weed bong mask happens, we'll let you know. We'll be here live breaking everything down, me, Nate, and Matt, before Matt eventually disappears off into his Jets ether, and me and Nate have to run over to assist Kelsey and DJ. But yeah, next we're almost here, guys. 7 days. So all those who celebrate, happy Easter. Why did I go to Kelsey? No, into me. We're all over the place. Yes, to all those who celebrate, happy Easter, and to all those who celebrate, obviously, happy Passover. Happy Passover, right? I don't know. Anyway, but obviously, it's a very religious time of year for a lot of people. So, hope you enjoy the weekend with your family and friends. We will see you guys on Monday for the release of our second mock draft. These ones will not be live. We're just going to post them. 2, we're going to break down, obviously, the UFL podcast, the UFL games, and obviously everything else that comes in between. Also, the first couple games of the NBA playoffs. So this should be a good time. Shout out to our sponsors, Righteous Felon Candidates and SeatGeek. We will see you guys Monday. Have a great weekend. Happy Easter.